can be hard when you grow up. People fill you with doubt, you start thinking about what you're gonna do now. And it's do or die, gotta make it count. So lose your worries, let your problems go on until my whole body burns out. I ain't never gonna slow down. I ain't never gonna slow down.
Welcome everyone, this is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden and I will be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about the instant versus constant mindset and how it influences critical thinking. Now this episode has been a long time coming. Sometimes in order for an episode to have a tremendous amount of influence, it has to be built up until this point. We have been building things up. Now, some of the episodes that have come out, some of the episodes that will come out are going to be on the borderline of politically correct because we are now getting into the aspect of critical thinking. Critical thinking is not only about looking at what's right, it's about looking at everything that is possibly possible. Because someone can have a different mindset. That's possible, correct? Yeah, you can have a different mindset and there's nothing wrong with that. I can have a different mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. But yet today in our world, if you have a different mindset, something's wrong. You're not the same as me. Why are you not the same as me? Why can't you just listen to me? Why can't you just do what I say? This is the mentality that we have. This generation, this psyche, the world almost has this mindset. Could be technology. It could be how people are growing up in education. But what I will say, it is more common today where people are thinking more in the instant than they're thinking in the constant. So I'm going to be sharing with you my most recent blog. We're going to be talking about some key points in it, and we're going to be breaking it down in this episode. And then, of course, you are going to be able to ask me any questions at the end, in the comments, in the emails, because this one will have some questions. All right, everyone, if you're new to the podcast or the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share the video and or audio to help build a community of like-minded individuals. Today, we are talking about what the instant versus the constant control mindset is, and then how it's going to influence our critical thinking. Let's get straight into it, right? What is constant control? What is instant control? Instant control is going to be the things that can change me momentarily. There are many examples for instant control. Think of if you want to diet, right? You want to go on a diet. The word diet is probably not a really good term. You should probably eat more healthy. But let's just say you want to go on a diet. Is that an instant or a constant? Most people who go on diets, they go on diets temporarily. You're not going to say, I'm going to go on a diet for the rest of my life. You might say, I'm going to eat healthier the rest of my life. But the term diet is more of an instant. Because we think of fad diets. We think of keto, paleo, Whole20, carnivore, all of these diets, right? They're just momentary things. They're not a lifestyle yet. So in the instant, we are focused maybe on losing weight, maybe on getting a better physique, a better mindset. But that's only for a temporary moment in time. But then we look at the constant. Now we can get to the word of we want to eat more healthy. That's going to be a more long-term thing. And on that basis, we're going to have continual growth versus momentary or our momentary spike in growth, and then we fall off. We can look at fitness. Fitness, when you go to the gym for New Year's, you say instant control, New Year's resolution, new year, new me, I'm going to do this. But then 2 to 3 months later, if that, it's starting to taper off. And heck, I saw less people this year in the gym than I probably have ever seen before. Maybe it's my gym, but every gym, again, is going to see an influx in people. People are just kind of saying, well, we tried. And eventually, if you try enough and you keep on failing, you have the option to say, you know what, I'm not going to try anymore. I already tried before. So a lot of people are getting these limits in their mind and these limiting mindsets, and they're giving up before they even succeed. So that spike that they used to have going to the gym, they're like, well, I'm not going to get it, right? Because the instant is not leading to the constant of me going to the gym as a habit in my day, having it be a habitual pattern in my life. If we can get to the constant, we can get to a better lifestyle. We can have more energy. We can have a better physique. We can probably just have a better mindset overall, because that's what fitness does. It gives us the resilience. It gives us all of the feel-good chemicals and reactions in our body, because the body needs movement. And if you do not move, the body is going to naturally, start to break down. We need to move. The body naturally moves by itself. It vibrates. And the lower the vibration, that's when you're going to, again, start to pack on more weight. That's when you're going to start to feel more depressed, more stressed, more anxious. This happens because you're not moving enough. If you move more, all of these things would seemingly be alleviated. Now, there are things that you have to do in order to, again, fully address them. But we're not looking at just fully addressing the issues right now. We're just trying to understand, how can we begin? And in this article, I go in depth into multiple areas, more than just diet and fitness. Diet and fitness is just an example. I talk about different affiliations. It could be politics. It can be how we think in our day, relationships. And it's because there's always an instant and a constant control in our mind, or an influence in our mind. A lot of people, they only focus on the instant, because they look at the feel good. What's going to make me feel the best right now? What's going to give me the best return for my money right now? I want things right now. I don't want things later on in my life. Give me now. And if I can be happy now, it doesn't matter about later. That's why most people will sacrifice their age. They will go to work, tear down their body, and later on, they'll spend all the money that they made to fix their body. Most people live life backwards. They are working toward happiness, but happiness was always right there in front of them. They just had to reach out and grab it. It's a mindset. Attain it. But then we look at the more serious aspect of what instant versus constant control is, and it's going to be critical thinking. Critical thinking, we have talked about this on the podcast. You can look at some of my past episodes where I talk about doublethink. And you're going to be looking at, well, what is control? Control is going to be the ability to influence somebody. It happens a lot with our news. You can turn on the news, and for some reason, right, the negativity controls us. We are going to be beings that are going to be controlled by negativity. I don't want you to be controlled by negativity. But it's the brain's natural tendency. Fear. What's in that bush? We're going to be invaded. Oh, there's going to be nuclear war. Oh, they're invading our borders. I mean, it is easy to become scared. It's easy to listen to this and become influenced or controlled. However, if it becomes a constant, it becomes toxic. If it is an instant, it becomes habitual. And the issue with most people today is that they allow the instant control. So the moment they hear some news, they don't look for another outlet. They don't look for the truth. They take what they are going to get if they maybe think that the news source or the place that they're getting the information from is credible. And they're going to say, I have no choice but to believe this. This is instant control. If you are a person with an affiliation now, this happens a lot with political parties. Political parties are going to have the affiliation of constant control. And this can even happen through generations, because children are going to maybe have the same affiliation or political affiliation as their parents, if they have strong parents and if they have went to the right schools. The constant control is, I'm going to stay on this side regardless of what my party members do. I'm going to stay there. And if you can remember, there was an interview of Dwayne Rock Johnson. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he talked about voting for Biden. He basically says, like, I have friends that voted for Biden. And then Joe was like, do you really have friends that voted for Biden? And then Rock was like, let me correct that. You're right. I have people who are affiliated with the Democratic Party. Okay, that makes more sense. People vote because it's their constant, not their instant. People are not going to say, well, what does this country need? Independent, maybe. They look at what is their habitual habit of constant control. Well, this party has always been my go-to. I'm going to keep it my go-to. You can even have constant control in some things in your life. Maybe the type of car you drive. I know some people, they like certain cars. Audis, Mercedes, Benz, Bentleys, BMWs, whatever. This right here is constant control. We have been influenced to believe that this is the car for us. Now, for me, I like driving Hondas. Does that mean that I can't afford a BMW or a nice Range Rover? No, it doesn't mean that. I just don't like cars for the sake of liking cars. Like, I'm not going to be a car collector guy. I might buy a truck because I'm in Texas. And I probably won't get a Honda truck because those are probably not a good Texas truck. I'll probably get like a Ford Raptor. Those are pretty fun. I drove one before. And that is my preference now, right? Because I have found what I like, what I need. I don't need more in my life. A lot of people, they take, and eventually they feel consumed where they can't focus their mind. Their critical thinking abilities are now downtrodden because they have too much to think about. So they can't be constant and consistent because they are too bogged down by what is going on in their life. We need to focus more on what's going on in our mindset and being able to differentiate if it's instant or constant control and if it benefits us or if it doesn't. All of that as an introduction to the blog, the article, is a big introduction, right? What does this mean, right? Because now we're getting into the aspect of what do we do about this? What do we do about students not being able to critically think? What do we do about students not being able to see the cause and effect of their actions or their habits? What do we do about it, right? This is the $1 million question. Of course, mindset coaching helps, right? You get a life coach, you get someone to help you, a mentor, a guide along the way. You're probably going to be in a good place. The issue is not so much if you're going to be in a good place, is how can we get there sooner? Many people, they want a good life, right? They want happiness, they want fulfillment, they want joy, maybe they want glory, riches, and wealth. But they're not doing the things that are going to help them. They look for instant pleasure. Everything is instant in our world. You're hungry? Go to a fast food spot. Instant gratification, instant comfort. You want something from the store? Guess what? They have DoorDashes or they have Uber drops or whatever. They have 1 day shipping, or 2 days shipping, right? Depending on where you go. You can get your goods very easy. You don't have to leave the house. We get things instantly. People want things cheap. They want things fast and they want things now. Instant. I want some coffee. Some people, they make espresso and it's a whole journey. I don't know if you've ever seen someone make an espresso. It's like a whole art. Some people are like, give me a Keurig. Instant. Some people are like, give me a packet of instant coffee. Even more instant. Some people are like, I'm just going to go to Dunkin' Donuts or I'm going to go to Starbucks and we're going to get a coffee. We don't have to do the work. Instant. However, maybe making espresso can be considered more constant if we compare all of the different types of ways to make coffee. But then again, after you're done with the espresso, you have to clean the machine and it could be a whole ritual. It is a whole ritual. You have to be creating that consistency to clean the machine. It sounds crazy, right? But it's almost like creating the consistency to go to the gym. Because I can turn on my TV or I can turn on my phone or a tablet or whatever, and I can go to the YouTube app or the YouTube channel, and I can press play on a workout, a 30-minute workout, do the workout in my house, and then I can say, okay, great, I worked out today. Many people think that they have to go to the gym. No, you don't. You don't have to go to the gym. Some people don't like going to the gym. What's the point of walking on a treadmill when you can walk outside? It's probably better. I mean, even statistically, they say that it is going to be better to walk outside. Number one, you're getting sun. Number two, when you're walking, most likely there's going to have some type of inclines naturally that's happening. and you're going to get different levels of a workout. Some might be, pretty steep. Some might not be. You're going downhill. There's different elevations, and those elevations help out with fitness. People are, in this mindset, I have to go to the gym, or I don't want to work out at home. They just haven't created the consistent habit of working out. The instant idea of working out is going to be there. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. It's like our to-do list. And then we get into the aspect of when we're trying to create the critical thinking, when we're thinking instantly, it's going to be challenging because we're always going to be thinking about surface level stuff. Critical thinking is trying to get as deep down as possible. Sometimes people are going to, be able to get down deep possible, like they're like, okay, cool. I'm thinking about all of the things that could possibly happen. But yet many people, again, we have blind spots. I have blind spots, and that's why I have a coach. I speak with people because if I do not, I won't understand my blind spots. And I do a damn good job at when I find my blind spots, I do everything to remediate or to remedy what is going on that I wasn't aware of. If I'm bottlenecking, I'm going to fix that. If I'm not a good person, let me see if I want to fix that. Now I'm saying, okay, I'm making progress toward a better me. Critical thinking is looking at every aspect and coming to a conclusion that's going to be a long-term benefit to yourself. If you're thinking critically for a moment, oh, well, we have to do this because someone told us. That's not critical thinking. You did no thinking because someone told you. Now, you might think in your mind that you thought, but some things we don't even think about. For example, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? Maybe you hit the snooze button. Maybe you pray. Maybe you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, right? Sometimes you might not even think about it. It's just your morning ritual, right? They call it a morning ritual, morning routine. The morning routine, the morning ritual that you do is typically your constant. However, your constant doesn't require any thinking from your part. You're not like, okay, let me pee. Okay, I'm peeing now. After I pee, I'm going to go brush my teeth. All right, cool. I forgot to wash my hands. So now I got, pee hands in my mouth and stuff. This is crazy, right? You are going through a process that typically you create. It's like bathroom, wash your hands. You go out to a restaurant, you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. You're not going to say, okay, well, I need to wash my hands because I'm about to go eat food. Now, not saying that some people don't think that. The majority of people are always just going to be living very quick. And if it happens, it's something that is just a spark that initiates the next thing. It's almost like if I say, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Did you have to think about it? Probably not. That's just a habitual response. Now, if I start to ask questions, deep questions, tell me something good that happened in your life today. I'm not going to say, how are you? Now you're going to be thinking, what could happen in my life? Maybe something bad happened in your life and you think about that first. Maybe something good happened and you tell me about it. Maybe you say that's none of your business because, you're just in a bad mood. Perfectly right? None of my business. You can see the difference, right? One is going to be the aspect of critical thinking on the surface level where it just kind of, it just happens, whereas not really much critical thinking. Let's just call it, fast thinking or instant thinking. And then you have your deep level of thinking where we can call it our subconscious. And now we're getting into the more critical thinking. And then if we compare our subconscious to our unconscious, now we're even in a deeper level of critical thinking because we have our conscious as telling us what to do, how we think, our thoughts. It could lead us to either or. It can lead us to our instant or our constant level of thinking. Now our subconscious is going to lead more to our long-term thinking, our constant thinking, and it could lead to critical thinking. And typically, if you're working on your subconscious and your unconscious at the same time, you're most likely only in the critical thinking process. We don't look at our unconscious thoughts and our unconscious habits quite frequently. We don't look at the things that we do. Most people don't even realize what they do in a day. You know what the first things I do with a lot of my clients is we get a scheduled 24-hour time block and we write everything down that is happening in your day, and we're trying to figure out, what do you do in a day? What do you do on the days you go to work? What do you do on the days when you don't go to work? We need to know this. And once we can see, we have a clear understanding of how much time we waste, because that is basically what we're looking for, how much time we waste. And we start to look at what can we implement into our schedule that is not going to let us waste so much time. Because if we think about sleeping, right? If you sleep 6 hours instead of 8 hours a day or something, I think it's like you get maybe like a month or more of life a year. This might not seem like a lot, right? But this is what separates the people who want to do stuff in life. Many people are just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go sit on the sofa. Okay, I understand you need to relax. I understand you need to recharge. But people make this the constant. People make this the habit. And then they just consume all this information and it becomes their instant. All right, oh, I got to worry about this. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, this happened on this show. This happened on this show. And we're always just changing our thoughts, and we don't really solidify what we need to be thinking about or who we're becoming, because we're always given this new thought, and we're always this way and we're that way. And we're like squirrels. We have this TikTok brain, they call it. Our attention span is instant. It's not consistent. It's not constant. We need to focus on the constant, because then it leads to more critical thinking moments. And when we can start to critically think and make sense to what's going on, what we're doing, and if it's beneficial to us in the long term and not just short term, or it's going to be beneficial to the majority of people, maybe even ourselves, and is not going to have any emotional trigger or opinionated influence. This happens a lot in politics. This happens a lot in friendships. We don't necessarily know we do the things we do because we are just trying to be a part of the crowd. We're trying to be a part of the group. But today we need to learn how to be independent, in the sense that I can critically think, you can critically think, and we can come together with our thoughts and we can come to a conclusion. And the conclusion could be that we're going to agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are just going to have different mindsets, as I said, right from the jump. You can have a different mindset. I can have a different mindset. But the difference in my mindset to the majority of people is that I look at my thoughts fine tooth and comb. I know a lot of people, they get mad at me at, Twitter and X is my most political platform I use for social media. And they don't like the way I think. Why? Because I'm thinking more to the critical thinking aspect. I look past what's going on. If I say marriage is a bad deal for men, heck, it is a bad deal for men. And all the women are like, why is it a bad deal for men? And I go on and I explain why it's a bad deal for men. But yet they cannot think more than what is past their initial feelings, their emotions. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want you to be emotional. I want you to have your own opinions and ideals. But then at the same time, if someone is acting a certain way, we have to act a certain way too. Because we're not going to just let someone who's doing something incorrectly influence our life incorrectly. It's probably not the best way to live. So think of it as a police officer going up to someone who's doing the wrong thing, let's say shoplifting. The police officer is not going to say, hey, can you tell me why you're shoplifting? And the person's like, well, it's hard times right now. Okay, well, let's figure out why you took this and let's talk about it and see if we can come to a conclusion. No, they broke the law. Now, there's going to be places like in California where you can take up to $750 in merchandise and not get a felony or something. I think it's up to $950 now. That could be an issue. But what we're looking at is, again, what is going on around you, what's going on in your life, and then what you want to continue to go on. So in closing, instant versus constant control is going to be a perspective on influence in critical thinking, because we're trying to understand what is happening in the moments of our life. Sometimes we're manipulated and our behaviors are changed, our beliefs are changed, our personal habits are changed by an external source. And the danger is that we are going to give away the capacity to critical think. We have to have the ability to question. We have to have the ability to grow. And we have to have the ability to continue to cultivate our mindset, because our mind is dynamic and it should be able to go through different thought patterns, different processes, and not always come out with the same conclusion. Now, this is not a math problem where 2 + 2 = 4. Life is much more complicated in the sense that we can be going down a path. We can change our path because we realize this path is not for us. Or we can finally pay attention and realize that what we have been doing is not going to be benefiting us long term. Maybe eating unhealthy, maybe hanging out with the wrong people, maybe, falling in love with some type of substance, whether it be drug, sugar, alcohol. Those things are not good for you long term. Initially, it might be awesome, but it's not something that you want to fall into. And then we get into the aspect of making sure we're doing the right thing at most moments in our life. When you can give yourself the aspect of critical thinking, you become more clear. Most people who don't understand their purpose, their passions, their why in life, it is because they don't follow the idea of critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is not that hard. You have to be able to ask questions, right? But then at the same time, you have to be able to get rid of your beliefs. It's almost like you have to give yourself a different perspective, because when I'm talking to people, I'm not only talking to people about what I believe. I'm telling people what is the reality. And sometimes they are like, well, the reality doesn't make sense to me because it contradicts what I believe. And I say, I understand, right? Most people are living in a delusional type mindset. Hey, I'm not here to, change everyone in the world. I'm here to guide people if they want to be guided. At the end of the day, a person who, wants to be fat is going to be fat. And a person who wants to be healthy is going to be healthy. A person who wants to be happy is going to be happy. A person who wants to be sad and depressing, stay there, is going to stay there. You can't make an angry person not angry by being positive. Oh, this person's angry. Well, let me go up to them and be real positive. It doesn't work that way. You get to choose your demeanor. You get to choose your mindset. You get to choose the lifestyle. And some people are always going to be that instant Keurig, and some people are going to be that espresso. Some people are going to be that diet plan, and some people are going to be on that fitness journey for longevity and eating well and healthy. You get to choose what you want in your life. If you want instant happiness, turn on your phone and just scroll through TikTok and YouTube and all of those things. But if you want true happiness, get a piece of paper, get a pen, start writing down the things that you want to do, the things that are in your mind. Get down into your subconscious and start to look at the things that might be your habits or your unconscious thoughts and feelings. We have episodes and articles all on this if you need some assistance in that. Of course, you can go a step further, get some coaching. But the idea is you have to do the things that are going to be benefiting you, not the things that are going to be detracting from you. And in our world today, the instant is going to detract from you more so than if you focus on the critical thinking aspect of giving yourself a constant good thing in your life. I would rather you eat healthy every single day than you eat unhealthy every single day. People have low levels of energy, or they don't have good thinking patterns because of the content that they're consuming or of the food they're consuming. This is, catch-22. A lot of people, they want to, do these good things in their life, but they need energy. But they're not doing the things that give them energy. Build up the energy. And if you need a episode on how to give yourself more energy in your day, let me know in the comments below. You can always send me an email, same thing. More than happy to create that, give you some guidelines, because again, I understand not everyone can afford coaching. And with the times that we're in right now, a lot of people, they're struggling to make ends meet. And if you are one of those people, understand that you can continue to listen to Coaching in Session. You can continue to read the blogs and the articles and listen to the motivational videos and allow that to be your guidepost to stay on track as much as possible. Because if you can give yourself, again, the constant effort of personal development and then giving yourself the mindset of self-help, eventually you're going to get to the place that you need to be. It takes a lot longer when you don't have that guidance that is going to be that accountability aspect of a coach every single day, but you will get there. I know it's going to be possible. I've done it initially. Today, I live in a faster lane. So I need to be able to do things on that quick, instant basis. But I do it because I don't want to be stuck in a spot where it's like, okay, what am I doing? Right? My habits that need to be consistent are consistent. The thoughts and the ideas in my mind are going to be in the aspect of thinking in reality, not living in delusion. We live in a fact-based world, but many people are living in an opinion-based reality. So this is something that people have to change if they truly want to dive into the aspect of critical thinking, and then relinquishing instant control if it doesn't suit them, and then understanding their constant control if it no longer suits them. There's a lot to be said, and I encourage everyone to read this blog. It goes into more depth. We did go in quite a bit here in this episode, and I encourage everyone, like I said, to share this article with a friend who might be struggling with their current circumstance, and it might be because they have a flaw in how they're thinking. They're thinking that something good is going to happen in their life, and maybe that is true, right? We're being optimistic. But the best thing that can happen in your life today is that you take action. So if you're ready to take action, start now. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, email me coachinginsession@gmail.com, and I'll see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.